much whatever sovereignty was left of this country to private corporate global bodies has been rammed through by the Democrats and Republicans. Obama's trade bill narrowly clears a key Senate hurdle that it had failed to clear last week. Deals details not released to the public. Conservatives could push over the finish line. Mexico weighs U.S. meat products sanctions. Congressional approval ratings collapse. Yeah, polls are out on this. Over 85% of Americans in a Gallup poll last week are against the TPP. Hard to believe there's 15% that want a secret global treaty to be passed that no one's allowed to see. And WikiLeaks has released only part of it. And that's where the internet is turned over to select corporations and there's no free speech. You just can't make this stuff up. The world is plunging into tyranny. And I'll be quite frank with you, this is a very stressful job to be aware of all the things that are happening. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying sometimes if I seem angry or upset on TV or radio, it's not fake. I blew up 10 minutes ago before I even went on air because it is overwhelming how over the top all of this is. And that's the globalist plan. Just ram the whole stinking thing through, throw it in everybody's face, be over the top, invert reality, and then declare those of us that want basic sanity and basic freedom to be tyrants. Or those of us who aren't racist say that we're the racist. And just dumb the political debate down to the most mindless level ever imaginable. Last night and this morning, reading the news and coming in today, looking through the stacks, just all of these stories are totally insane. There's one out of Associated Press. There's another one out of Reuters. Police want bikers off streets after deadly Texas shooting. And all these days later, 5-6 days later, they're still saying Harley-Davidson is closed across the state, and they're asking bikers not to drive down highways because the snipers may come after you because we're expecting retaliation from the banditos. And the banditos are on TV going, you think we're insane to start a war with the police? I guess only George Soros does that and gets away with it, you know, Nazi collaborator. And I'm not defending the banditos. The point is, this is a major power grab. So Joe Biggs, if it quits raining, is going to ride around on his Harley today. And we'll ride up the cops and say, you know, do you think I'm a terrorist because I'm riding around on my motorcycle? It's just everything is a power grab nowadays. And that's just one of the cuckoo stories I've got. There's hundreds of them. Yesterday, I ran into the cream of the scum. I mean, I ran into what this artificial decadent society has produced on every front. It was the most bizarre confluence of hypocrisy and bizarro-landness. The video's up on Infowars.com. We're spending a lot of time on this today. Shock video, militant communists attack pro-life protest. And they were pulling up in like $80,000 brand new Jaguars. I went and looked it up. And then I got in my Dodge Challenger and they were screaming 1%er. I mean, it is just crazy town. And the women saying, how dare whites try to adopt black babies? Abort them, abort them. I killed my babies. I kill them. I mean, just, I love Satan. Hail Satan. I mean, just, and then they're so weak on top of it. I mean, it is unbelievable. We are going to have in studio today to get their breakdown from every different angle of the war on free speech. Rob Dew, David Knight, Jakari Jackson. We're going to also have Paul Watson in here. Coming up at the bottom of the next hour, we're going to have in studio with us Jakari Jackson and Anthony Gucciardi, witnesses to just the bizarro land happenings yesterday in Austin that I'm going to break down in a moment. And then we're going to have Leanne McAdoo in along with Paul Watson via Skype, and then Rob Dew in the last 20 minutes of the show or so to give his breakdown on the situation. I talk about stories that are Rosetta Stones, decoders. If you have this decoder, if you have this block that has the different alphabet codes spelled out, you can then read the tea leaves. And there are a lot of these stories every day that connect the dots together, basically. But I'll be honest with you. I did not intend, I mean, I wanted it to be, but I didn't think sending out the reporters to demonstrate and point out that Planned Parenthood was founded by Margaret Sanger, and she helped set up the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute that bankrolled Hitler, and that she was one of his top advisors. And Hitler wrote that one of her books was his, quote, Bible. And I cover all this in the film Endgame. I show her writings. I show it from the university archives. I show her book. I show Hitler transcripts of radio addresses thanking Margaret Sanger. I mean, she went to Germany and met repeatedly with Hitler. So did Thomas Watson, the founder of IBM, who did have like 180 IQ, but was a flaming racist and wanted to exterminate every black person on Earth. And then you notice IBM funds all the multicultural push and all this stuff because they want to get blacks on the plantation, in the inner city control grid, on welfare, socialized so they can be destroyed. And boy, have they destroyed it. I mean, they have wrecked the black community. They have devastated it. Every metric shows that. So regardless of where you stand on abortion, I'm not judging you if you've had an abortion. I'm not on some high horse. I'm not saying you're a devil. Okay? I'm pointing out where it came from and why they're pushing it and what the agenda is. And then once they collectivize things, they say, see, we don't want to pay for all these poor people, kill them. We don't want to pay for these old people, kill them. We don't want to pay for these veterans, put them on no-treat list. And this is what they say to me. How dare you not want to abort the black babies? Nobody wants them. I've had whites, blacks, all of them tell me that. And I finally caught it on video. I've told you about being at a pro-life demonstrations back when I still did stuff like that 15, 16 years ago. And it all started from guilt from abortions that I was involved in. I've never hidden that. I'm ashamed of that. But I'm honest about it, and I'll admit my serious failings. And I wasn't driving or pushing women to do it, but I could have pressured them, could have said, I'm going to marry you. It would have changed the whole course of my life, but I wish when I was 16 I'd have gotten married. I wish I wouldn't have been passively involved. Or then when I was 20 again, and I repent for that every day. Quite frankly, it's why I'm not afraid to die. Subconsciously, sometimes I just hope somebody walks up when I'm in public and shoots me right in the head, because I'm a sinner, damn it. And that's what it comes down to, so I'm willing to do whatever it takes to stand up for the unborn. I don't want to die. I want to be here for my children. I want to fight the globalists, but I'm saying at the end of the day, I am fearless because I know that's what I've got to do. It's something I can't even describe. I've got to be fearless. I've got to have the will to do whatever it takes, or I'm not going to be redeemed. And that's not out of some fear either. My soul knows it and wants to be good. And Lord knows I'm bad. Lord knows I'm bad. These little wannabes want to be wicked. What they don't know about the hearts of good men and women is that our goodness is huge and large and strong and beautiful. Just like our whole soul is big. But our bad side's bigger, deeper, meaner, sicker than these filth could ever imagine. I cannot believe how weak servants of evil are. It's all I can do to not want to just smash them. They love death so much. Why do they want to visit it on others? Why don't they visit it on themselves? So we have events, we see things that happen, points, Rubicons that are crossed. And so it all started 3 weeks ago when Mikhail Phelan, one of our great writers, investigative reporters, said, you know, they're talking about Black Lives Matter all day. It's a few hundred blacks a year that get shot in questionable situations by the police. Lord knows the police in some areas are out of control, being federalized, but we ought to do a story about, and put out a meme on Facebook about Black Lives Matter and show the abortion numbers, 17 million, 16.5, 17 million, the numbers vary, of the 56 million people since Roe v. Wade. And I said, even better, let me talk to Jakari. I know he's pro-life and a Christian. We ought to see if he wants to lead a demonstration just to point this out. And we're sure the media will attack it and demonize us. And then we can probably get these going around the country and try to hijack this Soros, war with the police movement. And then I have Reverend Childress on to promote this event, and didn't even know since February he's been doing it at blackgenocide.org separately in South Carolina and other areas, and having a big effect. So see, our minds think alike because we're directed by the same energy. We're on the same page. We're brothers at a spiritual level. And that's when you really start getting into this, start warring against the globalists. You become more spiritual and you get closer to God, folks, because you will face devil worshipers. At the bottom of the rat hole is always an evil Satanist. And I've told you so many times that the anarchists, they're never anarchists. They call themselves anarchists. They're all about deception. And I told them, as soon as I saw them, 10 seconds in, we went to break, I said, you see those folks in black? I can tell by their demeanor, their look. They're going to start blocking, attacking people, try to tear down signs. They're going to say they're anarchists. They're going to be communists. And then they're going to be Satanists. Boom, it starts getting announced instantly. And I've seen them from England to Denver, Colorado, from New York City to L.A. They could be black. They could be white. They could be Hispanic. They all act and look the same, and they radiate weakness. They radiate fallenness. They radiate just a death wish for innocence. They radiate hell. And I don't like being in their presence because I'm going to be honest. They are an abomination. They are what comes after the innocence. They are the enemy. They are the enemy manifest. And if you don't want to throw yourself against that, God's Spirit's not in you. And I'm not up on some high horse, folks. I'm here to tell you right now, if you aren't repulsed by these people, something's wrong. Now, we go out to this demonstration. The videos are on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. And I see him being mean to David Knight's wife, getting in her face, shoving on her. I said, that's it, I'm going down there. I get there. A bunch of them run and leave when they see me arrive. I get out, I go over, I'm just doing interviews, I'm being nice. They come over and cuss on the microphone. Then they all link arms, trying to run over us, knocking people over. One of them punches me, grabs at me, grabs the mic, I get it back, grabs it again. Everybody's seen the video or heard it happen live on the radio here. The video's on Infowars.com, but we didn't know who we were dealing with. I just said I can just look at it. On Skype for 5 seconds, go to break, I told the whole crew, I said on air too, I said, those are going to be, they're going to say they're anarchists, then they're going to be communists, but that's only going to be a front for a bloodlust. And I've been around communists more than 100 times. We have footage, actually. We have footage a few times in New York. It's the same group, Maoist Red Guard. It's a real national group. And there were these older folks there, and they come over, and then I go, well, Stalin killed millions, and Mao killed millions. And they go, too bad they didn't kill you. And as soon as we turned away and walked off, they walk over, and we go, they said, we take over, you're dead. And I had a major, well-known socialist here a few years ago to be in a film, and I couldn't morally even put him in the film because I went to dinner with him, and Rob was there. And he said, listen, we take over, we're going to kill millions. They're going to be blood. You better join us. We're going to kill. We want blood. We want death. And see, when you learn that Lenin was really a Satanist, all of it clicks. And that's even in mainline history books. You can dig in. He was a devil worshiper. And this group's on their site saying they want red terror against me and all the rest of this. As if I go up against the globalists, the heart, their masters, George Soros, the Nazi collaborator that funds these anti-police groups. Do you think I fear you? I mean, what a joke. You are only one tiny little magnifying glass of the rot for us to examine as a study piece. As an educational prop, as a textbook example of what serving wickedness will turn you into. When we come back, I'm going to get into all of it. Then we go to their Facebook, and it's all them. We ask them, you know, are you these communists? Are you doing? And they say, no, that's not us. When it's all them, we have their names, everything. It's on their Facebook. They didn't shield their private group settings. And it's all how we're going to kill the police and all this other stuff. Patriot Act news, huge TPP news. We stopped it in the Senate last week. They went ahead and passed it out of committee. Big trouble, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like it may pass now. Congress approval rating plunges to an all-time low. That treason is coming up. When I start the next hour, I'm going to cover the main body of global news. Then we're going to continue to focus on the war, on the First Amendment. Rob Dew is going to come in the last 30 minutes or so with universities all over the country banning libertarians, conservatives, Christians, and pro-veterans groups and pro-police groups from being able to have demonstrations when they're even activists on campus or being able to hold up signs. And again, whether you're for the police or not, or for pro-lifers or not, or whatever, they have cops shutting people's free speech down under orders. It is anti-American. It is the end of this country if it continues. And speaking of that, I didn't know who we were dealing with yesterday if you just joined us. Again, Alex Jones here, back live. A lot of you watched it on the live free streams at Infowars.com/show, or you listened on the radio. But we're about an hour into the show. I'm covering other news, popping in with Jakari. I see these bottom-feeding, cave-dwelling, glow-in-the-dark, crawl out from the under a rock scum show up. I see him start pushing on people, blocking signs, and I say, that's it, I'm going down. So I drive down on the live feed, get there, and pretty soon I realize, oh, I've seen this before. They start saying, I love the fact I killed my children, I love Satan, you know, basically all whites are bad, period. Don't try to help black people, that's racist. Just true scum of the earth, devilish stuff. Weird guys that look like vampires, like zombies attacking people. I mean, right out of all those images, the guy looks like a serial killer. I'm not saying he's a serial killer. He just looks like the Hillside Strangler or something. He has that same crazy look in his eye, that same empty, shark-eyed look. And they're not trying to act like that. They are given over to it. Just soulless zombo stares. And then talking about, I kill all my kids, and licking their lips. And they're not saying that to sound crazy. This is really what they're into. It is a sacrament. And I've run into a lot of women over the years that go, you bet I had an abortion, and I like it. The devil loves it out here. And I mean, you'll have women that are clean cut and nice. At the Texas Capitol 2 years ago, saw pro-lifers praying, and just suddenly women who didn't even know each other just circled hands and went, Satan, oh, Satan, hail Satan. I mean, we played the video. It was national news. You will see, I mean, where does this come from? Women who aren't even into the whole gothic ib vampire movement suddenly going, Satan, 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 Satan. It's like something out of The Exorcist. Your mother's in hell. And when you see these people, you realize, oh my gosh, whether it's an archetype, group consciousness, demons, you know, space aliens, whatever you call it, something is influencing these people. These are demons. They weren't always like this. They are just crawling on the ground like Gormer Wormtongue or something from Lord of the Rings or Gollum. Ah, you have never. And it's just, you just want to grab them by the throat. I mean, these are maggots. And then you go to their websites, and it's just kill the police, and they have demonstrations with rotting pig heads, and we're going to get you, and it's time for war, and they're so weak. And then the cops didn't arrest them, treated them lovingly, patted them, and oh, they were so sweet to them, and then did nothing. When they were running around assaulting and hitting people and breaking microphones and doing all this in front of everyone, because the city of Austin supports this. The city of Austin loves it. George Soros funds these groups. In fact, we're looking into it through UT. We're doing research. We've already connected them to a group that is Soros funded and their top advisor, which again is one of these Islamo-fascist socialists. I mean, you just cannot make this stuff up. You cannot, I mean, just being deployed by UT. They have these Mao meetings at UT where they sit up and pretend that they're the new Politburo and I mean, it's sick, and this is standard. This is standard in America. How they're being federalized. We told you the plan was attack the police, blame them for the imploding economy, blame them for the globalism, blame them for every problem, and not the globalists who are training them and executing this takeover, and who are sucking the country and the planet dry of resources and money and freedom, who are dominating the globe. And when they start going into that phase of revolution, like they did in Ukraine to overthrow Ukraine a year and a half ago now, when they start funding an Arab Spring, not to bring freedom to the Middle East, but to enslave, you know that you're in trouble. And now there are major moves to basically start World War III in Ukraine.